Ladies and gentlemen, as most of you already know, I've been going through some personal problems over the last few months, and it's been not a great year so far. I've lost my father, my aunt, and almost lost the wife, and consequently, the really the business has had to take a bit of a drastic measure, and nothing's really been done. So we're now at the start of June, and I'm about to start my first project of the year, and it's something a little bit different. But what you've got to remember, that any car that comes to have the sort of love that I want to give it is somebody's pride and joy, and it doesn't really matter what it is, it's going to get treated accordingly. So I'd like to introduce you to the first project of the year, and never worked on one before, and I'm really looking forward to giving this a makeover. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you exactly what it is. But just remember that every car that comes here, somebody loves it, and I'm going to give it all the love it needs. So let me turn the camera around, and here she is. It's a Daihatsu Copen in a nice blue colour, red leather interior, and the owners of the car really didn't know what detailing was, and they've been recommended to bring the car here by our good friend Peter, and it was dropped off yesterday afternoon. So this is going to get probably not the full Premium Plus package, but it's going to get plenty of love. Going to make it look as good as I can, and we all know what that means, or I hope you do. And I'm looking forward to starting the full washing and decontamination and that process today. Now, a lot of you would have seen all this sort of thing before, but as I've said, the owners didn't know what detailing was, so I've promised to show them as many of the steps that it goes through as possible. And so I'm going to be filming stuff that you've seen previously, but obviously for the owners it's going to be their first time, so I'm going to try and capture as much as I can. So I'll see you later. I'm just going to get myself prepared to start the washing, cleaning, decontamination process. Or do I start on the interior first? I don't know. I haven't made my mind up yet. But you'll see, whatever I do, I'll be filming some of it. So I'll see you in a bit. Well, the fact that it's very cold outside this morning, I've decided I'm going to start on the interior of the car and start getting this clean. So I'm just about to set about being able to get at the bits to clean. I'll see you in a minute. Right, I've been getting the seats out. A little bit more trouble than I wanted. I mean, there's 4 bolts that are all visible, but a couple of them have gone rusty underneath the car. So I went under the car, scratch brushed them, lubricated, and eventually managed to work them out. When I put the bolts back, I'll put them in with copper slip on the threads, so they shouldn't corrode again. But as you can see, there was no way on the planet that I'd be able to get in and clean these carpets properly with the seats in. Just not enough room. So I'm now going to start off by vacuuming it, get all the loose stuff out, and then probably get the extractor out and get the extractor on it. So I'm going to get on and start getting this rubbish out. Right, I've given this side of the carpet a good vacuum out and a brush. What I'm going to do now, before I complete the carpets, I'm just going to clean all the sides of all this trim, and there's a trim just here I'm going to do, and in the footwell. So I'll just show you the tornador working. We're hopefully going to get all the dirt try and get all the marks out, and then what I'll do is I'll use the tornador with no fluid, which I just turn the nozzle and then it's just pure air comes out. You can already see it's looking a lot better, but there are still some finger marks around this area which I need to turn the just onto and as you can see, it already looks like a different panel now. So if I just can get, let me just get a light. Give it a good dry off. And I'll just remove the camera so that you can see. Let's turn it. So you can see the difference now as we go forward. I want to get into all the pedal rubbers, the footrest down there on the left, and if you see the panels behind, they're all dusty and dirty, and always the kick plate is very dirty, as you can probably see. So I'm going to get in now and get the rest done, and I'll give you a look when it's done. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is, as it's a ladies' car, the steering wheels do tend to suffer quite a lot because of the makeup that gets ingrained, the moisturiser and whatnot that gets ingrained into the steering wheel. So I've got the Copen leather cleaner and a leather brush, and we're just going to gently try and massage all the oils out of the steering wheel. Give it a wipe. You can see starting to get quite a bit of dirt out. It is only makeup, but you can now see a clear difference in what the leather looks like. So, one thing about removing the seats, gives you a load more room in these little cars to be able to work. And to be honest, I think, you know, they get a more thorough job. You know, so a lot of the times I remove the seats just because I can work easier. You know, it's only usually 4 bolts, some electrical connectors. On some of the cars you can't really interfere with them because of the airbag systems, but and the restraint systems, but when you can, makes life a lot easier. Now I'm going to proceed with cleaning this steering wheel. As I am at the moment, I'm trying to avoid being in front of the camera and blocking the view, so you get the general idea. So I'll see you a bit later. Right, this side's all nice and clean. Nothing's been treated, just pure cleaning. Carpet's in great shape, doesn't need extracting at all. Looks like new. So I'm going to move over to the other side, but that's this side done. While I had the tornador out, I've give the door jambs a blast, clean them out. I'll jet wash them as well when I clean the car. So far, steering wheel is nice and clean, ready for action. Right, I'm going to go around the other side and start over again. Well, I've got all the interior all lovely and clean, and door cards are done inside the front screen. So everything's ready now. So I'll turn my attention to getting the seats clean. They're not bad at all. They're not going to need steaming, but I'll give them a good scrubbing with the leather cleaner and clean them all up. At least I can get to the backs now they're out, and then I can get them refitted. So on we go. See you in a bit. See how well used the seats are by how shiny they are. They shouldn't look like that by the time I've cleaned them, and I will put some G-Technic leather care protector over the top once they're clean. But I'm just going to start cleaning them now. Going to get the airline into all the crevices, get all the dirt out, and then I'll give them a good scrub. I'll show you the results after. Right, so I've got the Copen leather cleaner, and I'm just going to give it a liberal coating and do a panel at a time. I've got the leather brush, and I'm going to give it a deep cleanse. Making sure we're getting the crevices, they get dirty too. Get rid of any of the dye transfer from the jeans that gets trapped in the pores of these seats. Right. And now you can see that it's not the shine that the clothes put on the material when you're constantly getting in and out and driving along. And then I'll take the shine off, and then we'll add some leather protector once they've all dried. But it still looks a bit shiny because it's damp, but it certainly will not be as shiny as before. So there we have it. I'm going to get on, do the rest of the seat, and here's one that was done earlier. You can see there's no staining. Still looks a little bit shiny for my liking, but I think it's the material. I'm going to get on and finish this one. I'm just making a template for where the Copen badge goes, so that when I want to put it back on, I can put it in the right place. So I'll peel all this off, and obviously I can cut this out, and within a minute or two it will be back in the same place as it was before. The centre one I'll just remove, take some measurements from the bottom, and that isn't a problem to put back. Find the centre of the car, and that'll be it. But I want to get the badges off so I can polish the boot properly. So there we are. I'm just about to bolt the seats back in. They're all clean, lovely. I'm going to protect, once I've bolted them down, I'll put some G-Technic sealer on it. So I'll get the badges off. I've got the number plates off. I'm just removing the things that I want removed before I start the washing process. So I'm going to crack on, but I keep finding all these little bits of white around the car which I want to get rid of. You can see all these bits there. I think, you know, somebody's left some tape on there at some point, so I want to get rid of all that. It's just finding the little details to sort out, and you can see down there there's white down there from previous polishing. So I'm going to crack on, and I'll show you a bit more later. Well, as I said previously, I had trouble getting the seat bolts out because they was rusty. I had to get under the car with said scratch brush, give them a good rubbing and ease them backwards and forwards till they come out. So I'm about to put the seats back in. I've put the first of the bolts in the vise, and I'm going to give them a good clean, the threads, and then I'm going to coat them with copper grease. Put them all back in. Hopefully that'll stop them rusting in the future. It is easier to remove the seats to vacuum the car than try and struggle underneath it, but we'll see. I might have to take them out again in the future. You never know. So let's make sure they're going to come out in the future before I put them back. So I'll see you later. Remove the wiper blades to give me better access to the scuttle panel when I start polishing, but the wiper arms have seen a lot better days, so they're going to get flatted and painted in the original satin colour, so that when I finish polishing it, it'll be one of the finishing touches that sets it off. It's going to be a bit ugly putting it back on like that, so that ain't going to happen. So I'm going to flat both of them down and paint them, and they'll be ready then for when the job's finished to go back on the car. They're just tired, but we'll soon freshen them up. Right, I'll get on with it. Okay, well, the wiper arms have now been repainted and look lovely, so they'll go on at the end of the job. Just to show off a bit, there's one of my restorations that was in Mercedes book, and there is another 3 that have got cars in that I prepared. Just showing off a bit. Right, getting back to the Copen. I removed the badges yesterday. I've made a template for refitting it, but the glue, some of the toughest glue that I've had to try and remove, so I'm soaking that at the moment. I've had the towels on it soaking, but it's that tough, it's not really softening it up, so I'm just soaking it. Let it soak through the glue, and then using plastic scraper I shall be removing the glue. But while I'm getting the glue off, firstly I'm going to coat the leather seats in G-Technic leather guard This will give it about 6 months or more protection depending on the usage. But it'll stop the colour transfer going into the leather. So I'm going to do that, and that can cure for an hour while I'm removing the glue. Then I can get it outside and finally start the washing process. I've just found loads of other little jobs to do on this, which has stopped me washing it. So, you know, but it's all jobs that I'd have done during the detail. So there we have it. The interior's looking spick and span. Looks lovely. As good as the day it was made. And the outside I'm only hoping to get better than the day it was made. So I'm going to crack on, do the seats, and then get back on removing the glue, and then I can get it outside and start washing and decontaminating it. But you can see what I did. The usual, what I normally do is soak the rag and soften the glue up, but it's doing absolutely nothing. So it's going to be a little bit harder than normal, but it is what it is. Right, I'll see you later when I start the washing. See you in a bit. I'm going to start off by giving the tyre and the wheel a good clean. Make sure the tyres are nice and clean. Get all the residue from previous tyre black off. Keep leaning on the button, it's in my pocket. Turning the locking and opening the doors. Going to use the wheel woolly inside the barrels. Bit tight by the caliper. That's better. We'll give that a rinse off. Well, that looks nice and clean, but I'm now going to apply some good old Iron-X, and we'll see if there's any bondage contaminants like brake dust. So we'll just give that a few moments to see if there's any reactions. If it finds anything, it'll start turning red. And I'm going to leave the camera on real time so that you can tell there's no interfering with the wheel in between. But so far we're not seeing any red, which is always a good. Although this wheel looks like it's been refurbed, looking at the back wheel, so we might get a bit of reaction from one of the other wheels, but we're not getting any signs of any metal filings as yet, although this is starting to look a bit pink. But we'll leave it a minute or two and see what happens, and I'll just leave it. I'm going to pause it so that you ain't just looking at fresh air, and I'll come back in a minute. Well, I've left this for a good 3 or 4 minutes and we've had no adverse reactions. We've got a little bit of red that's on the floor, but it's so minor you can't see on the wheels. So I think this has had a refurb, this wheel, and hasn't suffered. So we'll have a look on the other wheels. It'll just go through the same process because I want them squeaky clean. So when I move to the back, we'll have a look at that one. See you in a bit. Well, I moved on to the back wheel with the INX, and as you can see, there's very little reaction, just little bits. So overall, I would say the wheels are very clean. You can see there's a little bit and traces of little bits of dust, but nothing major. So I'm going to get on, finish cleaning them, get round the car and start on the paintwork. Right, the car's going to get its first snow foam. Sorry? I'm guessing it sits on the park chair. Yeah. Gonna let that dwell for a couple of minutes before I rinse it off, and then I'll foam it again and wash it with the aid of the foam and my bucket of water and washing material, which is I use the Maguire's NXT, if you could see that, car wash, pH neutral. So I'll give this a couple of minutes and then I'll rinse it off. Right, I've rinsed the snow foam off. You can probably see from there that we've got standing water everywhere, and you can tell there's no protection on the car at all. So I'm going to foam the car again, and then I'm going to take the brush, I'm going to go around all the edges and the gaps to clean it out. I'll get the snow foam on. Well, due to my absolute amazing filming skills, I set the camera up in the tripod to film the rest of this wash and decontamination, and left it going, not knowing that the battery had gone flat and it wasn't filming. So I've had to carry on, obviously put my phone on charge. So I've carried on with the decontamination, used fallout remover, INX, washed the vehicle. It's nice and clean. So we're not going to need to take this into the light room to be able to see the defects. So we'll start at the bonnet and see some of the damage we've got to deal with. As you can see, it's very, very swirly. The scuttle, some deep etching, and again plenty of swirling, and we've got some deep scratches on this front wing to deal with. Lots and lots of swirls, and this continues around the rest of the car. As you can see, there's plenty of defects in the paint that we need to get rid of. Now, this has been done over a long period of time. Even the lights are really badly swirled. This is the part that concerned the owner, but to be fair, the damage that she thought she'd caused is nothing compared to what's already there. So we just continue around the car. It's just more of the same. And there's a bad scratch there. There's a few stone chips that I want to touch up, but you can clearly see the car was ready for some love. I noticed earlier there was something strange in the paint there. Another big stone chip to sort out. But we've got lots and lots of scratching, etching. You can see in the bonnet there, there's a lot of etching. Lots of big scratches. Some of this round this badge is where I've been removing the glue. So that's down to me. Plenty of stone chips there, but like I say, the whole car, it's ready for a lot of love, and that's what we're going to do. So starting tomorrow, this will be in the light room, and we can get on and start polishing. But looks lovely and clean now. Little gem. All the wheels and everything squeaky clean. I'm just going to lower the roof enough for me to get in and clean the inside of that glass, which I hadn't done earlier. So come tomorrow, we'll start the polishing. Right, I'll see you then. Well, now it's in the light room. I've just opened the roof halfway so that I could clean the glass in the back. It had something really sticky that didn't want to come off with normal glass cleaner, so I've polished the inside of the glass and managed to remove whatever it was that was stuck. So that's looking nice. While this is up, to make it easier to get into this part, as you can see by that side, this side was actually worse than that side, and this is now coming up quite nice. Just got a nice little brush out and getting all the rubbish out and backing it up. So I'm just going to finish this off, and then tomorrow I'll just start the polishing. But it's all coming together nicely. Let's hope the polishing does the same, which I'm sure it will. You know, it's I've done much worse than this. So I'm going to carry on cleaning the inside of this compartment, and then I'll be going home, come back tomorrow and get the polisher out that I've missed for the last few months. It'll be nice to actually do some polishing. The interior, the seats are all coated with the G-Technic leather care, so that's all complete now, looking nice. So we'll just get on with this and finish the day off. So I'll see you on the next one.